calling the meeting to order. Thanks everyone for being here. Let's start by saying a pledge of allegiance.
Danny Seremian, Chairman. Chair Anthony Herrera.
Here.
Leticia Gallardo. Secretary Lorraine Avalos. Member Rosemary Alanis. Thank you. Re-asking for Danny Seremian, Chair.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, we'll ask for public comments. This is an opportunity for members of the public. This includes those on Zoom to address the board on any matter related to the commission that is not listed on the agenda. Comments will be limited to no more than 3 minutes. Do we have any public comments at this time?
None on Zoom.
And on Zoom. Okay, thank you. I'm going to item number 5. What? We didn't do 5. Oh, okay. Sorry. I did that last time. I skipped. Potential conflict of interest. Any board member who has a potential conflict of interest may now identify the item and recuse themselves from discussing and voting on the matter. Now we go to item 6. Additions to the agenda. The board may add an item to the agenda if upon 2/3 vote, the board finds that there is a need for immediate action on the matter, and the need came to the attention of the board after the posting of the agenda. Board, do we have any additions to the agenda? Nope, none at this time. All right, number 7. At this time, we are in need of selecting a new chairman. Do we have any nominations for chair? I would like to nominate Rosemary for chair. Any other nominations? Vote.
Rosemary Alanis has been nominated for chair. Voting Danny Seremian.
Yeah.
Leticia Gallardo. Okay. Secretary Avalos.
No.
Member Alanis.
Yes.
And Vice Chair Herrera.
Yes.
There are 3 yeses, 2 nos.
Congratulations, Rosemary.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item number 8, approval of the April 30th special meeting minutes. Yes. I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second. Okay.
Sorry, who seconded?
Lorraine.
Lorraine.
All approved for minutes. Any opposed? All approved. Thank you.
All right, moving on to item 9, treasurer's report.
Okay, the balance as of today is $538,360.85.
March's balance was $499,524.33. Check 1653 was written to Northern Safety and Industry, $3,067.05. That was for the approval for the grant for Selma Little League. April's balance was $495,415.61. Checks 1654 and 1655 were voids. 1656 was David Fay. Timesheet number 1, $3,000. Check number 1657, David Frey reimbursement, 2125. Check 1658, Advantis Health Hanford for the grant proposal for the Selma Mental Health, $50,000. Check 1659. That was invoice number 9124, Leon's Computers for $557.70. Check 1660, invoice number 9144, Leon's Computers for $385. Check number 1661, invoice 8979, Leon's Computers for $720, and check number 1660. Invoice 486583, the attorney fee $6,986.
Thank you. Before we go into action, item number 10, just have one question with council. Okay, I would like to move an item up in order. At this time, I'd like to have the Selma Fire Department give an update on the CPR classes. Are we ready?
Chief Fulner is the one that's running the program. He is currently on paternity leave. He just had a baby, so I don't have any answers for you today. But I know that we have a possible 5 or 6 classes that we're gonna hold for the public. So as soon as I get more information, I can bring that to you guys. But I'm here with Selma Bay Brew today.
Okay. Now the classes, have they started?
So the classes that they've done a lot of internal classes for the government agencies, and then I believe they want to do one for Little League and Selma Babe Ruth combined, and they are looking for other groups to teach.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, I don't have that list of the classes that he already has scheduled, but I wasn't even aware that you guys were going to bring this up today, so I'm just kind of winging it right now.
Okay, appreciate you giving us an update.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, we'll go back to action item number 10, consideration of district goals and policies with Director Dave's recommendation to adopt the goals and policies. Do you want to go and speak on this, Dave?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Vice Chair and members of the board. The board considered the draft goals and policies at its last meeting. And after a pretty dynamic discussion and comments from the public, directed staff to return today with an update of those goals and policies that reflect the board's requests. The plan for services includes a mission statement and district goals. It includes policies that help to define the purpose of the two grant programs, the district healthcare initiative grants and the community grant program. They used to be called the district-led healthcare initiative and the micro grants. So now the micro grants are called the community grant program, and that's up to $5,000 for any one program in any given year. And the district normally budgets $50,000. There's other items in here that have been pulled from the RFP process, and the recommendation is to review and approve these, and this concludes my report.
Dave, these documents here just reflect exactly what we
Mhm.
talked about last week. Okay.
Or at the last
Or
meeting.
Last meeting.
And Ken, though he's not here, he and I had spoken about this, and he expressed that the policy document before the board today is also consistent with his recollection of the discussion.
Okay. Yeah, I also spoke to Ken earlier today and, yeah, he says he's reviewed all the changes and, he agrees with everything that we talked about is reflected here today. Oh, so now do we, motion to accept?
I make a motion to accept.
I'll second. At this time, open up for public comments. No comments at this time.
Being on workshop on district goals and policies, all approved. Any opposed? None opposed, motion passes.
Next item, consideration of proposed budget for fiscal year 2004, 2024, 2025, with director's approval, recommendation to approve. Dave, which item, which document are we looking at?
This is item 10-2. Agenda item 10, number 2.
4.
Would you like a brief presentation?
Yes, please.
All right, Mr. Vice Chair, Madam Chair, members of the board. The document before you would be the budget for the coming fiscal year. And as a summary, the district receives approximately $200,000 in property tax revenue each year. There's no other significant sources of revenue. It doesn't mean there couldn't be with other grants. They're out there. The district may be able to take advantage of those if there was so directed. It's the district's practice to maintain a financial reserve of $100,000, and this budget includes that consideration. Expenditures are composed of several categories, basically operations, which is your contract staff, your executive director, your clerk, and legal counsel. Then there's also a annual financial audit that's required by statute, and overhead, which includes Joey's work with our website and other things in terms of liability insurance and such. So approximately, if we were to look at gross numbers of that $200,000 in annual income, $100,000 has been set aside for the healthcare initiative grant. Then 10 $5,000 grants are set aside for the community based grants, and that leaves approximately $50,000 for overhead. And I can tell you that overhead is going to be the variable. In this year, as we're closing out this year, there's somewhat of a savings because not all of the funds available for the community-based grants were requested or allocated. So roughly half of that $50,000 is going to be available essentially to provide some coverage where we had expenditures that exceeded the budgeted amounts in operations. And yours truly is one of the reasons that there were expending that money, because my position was not budgeted. But there are funds available to cover that. And so we're looking for, let me just go to the back here. If you'll notice on the proposed budget for fiscal year 24-25, there's an item under the revenue summary, funds carried over. So basically, we have funds in the bank account that allow this budget to be balanced. And there's still, with $100,000 in reserve, there's still approximately $322,000 remaining. Now, this is based on the latest bank statements I have. So by the end of the fiscal year, that's going to be up or down slightly. But generally speaking, the district is in a good place with funds in reserve, funds allocated for programs and expenses, and then some leftover funds for the board to decide what to do with at some point. So it gives the board a little bit of a float there in terms of what it wants to do with its programmatic spending. So things are looking good at this point. Staff is recommending that the board adopt this budget. And with the proviso that at some point in the future, when things change, there's funding available if the board wants to change direction or allow more funding for grant or have more funding for certain other expenditures that come up over time. This concludes staff's presentation.
I have a question. Oh,
No, go ahead.
If we don't use it, we don't lose it, right?
That's correct.
It just carries over. It carries over. So we're not pressured to spend that money.
There's nothing there that there's no
Okay.
in statute or anywhere else, there's no reason for the board to feel it has to spend that
Okay.
money, except those things that are
Right.
pursuant to its mission.
Right, right. And just because we have it doesn't mean we need to spend it.
That's a decision of the board.
Okay.
Thank you, Dave. Any other questions from the board? No. Any questions from public at this time regarding yeah, come on in.
There it is. Hi, my name is Jovita Camacho, Selma, California. You guys had talked about the budget last time, and we had said if, Mr. Dave, right, if his, salary or his amount that, what was that going to be approved? And you guys had mentioned you guys were going to talk to each other and get back to each other and so on. So I just want to make sure if he had asked if that was already included. Is that going to be in the budget? Is it going to be written in there?
May I ask a question? Yeah, were you speaking about how I tendered my resignation letter?
Right, you had tendered it at the last meeting.
Hmm?
You had officially stated it. And so are you retracting it and saying you're going to stay? Is that what you're saying?
Stick around.
Okay.
We'll be talking about that.
And then,
But directly to your question,
Too good.
directly to your question, there's a very modest amount for the executive director in next fiscal year, starting in July.
Mhm.
And we're going to have some discussions tonight about me staying on and what that means. So the budget that is before the board tonight identifies a very small amount. I think it's $10,000 for the executive director in the next fiscal year.
Okay,
So as conditions develop, the board may have an opportunity to hire my replacement and then also amend the budget to include their salary.
okay. And
So at this point, it's kind of a placeholder.
will there be a vote on that?
There will be a vote at a future date.
Okay, and then another question, and I'm sorry if I don't know if I'm timed or anything like that, but another question, you guys had said that there was money in the reserve, and I agree, sometimes we're not supposed to spend it, but if the money's there and we're being taxed and it's already coming here, wouldn't it be nice to say on, social media, since everyone's using it, say we have money available, not publicly, but maybe put it on the website or, that way you don't. But say, hey, we do have, money available. Let's try to find a way. At the homelessness workshop, they were talking about the homelessness, and they were talking about Delphina was saying, we need the money. We have funding. We can possibly get more funding. And then light bulb went off and I was like, I was here for the work bus, I was here for the last meeting. And then I was thinking about the clinician you guys had hired or you guys had approved $100,000 to Adventist. So I was like, okay, if there's like a problem with homelessness, how can we tie this together? How can we use this fund to better Selma, to get the homeless, to get the help, not just the homeless, but other people too, because I don't think a lot of the Selma, and I reiterate this at the last meeting as well, I don't think a lot of people know that these mini grants are available. And if it's not allowed, then if it's something that we can maybe approve more micro grants, because currently you guys are doing, it was at 5,000 mini micro grants. So, I'm sorry, $5,000. So maybe you guys can approve more mini micro grants instead of, because if you guys are saying that the budget is there, then maybe we can extend it a little bit more and say, extend either more money or more micro grants. So, that's my opinion.
Thank you. Um, Any other comments at this time? Anybody online, Joey?
Nobody on Zoom.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept the budget.
I second.
On proposed fiscal year budget 2024 to 2025. Any opposed? All in favor? Motion
Yes.
passed. Thank you.
Next item, consideration of a community grant application from Boys and Girls Club of Fresno County. Recommendation by our director is approve with or without conditions or deny. Do we have a representative from the Boys and Girls Club?
Evening.
Okay, now it's on. I'm Diane Carberry. I'm the president and CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Fresno County. And one of our units we're proud of is our Selma unit. This is Ruby Torres. She's the unit director. And we have submitted a proposal for $5,000 to serve kids in the club. This is very much health related in that it's called Triple Play. It teaches kids the knowledge of healthy habits, physical exercise, good nutrition, and we have activities every day for those physical activities. And they also learn the social emotional well-being by interacting with each other, playing games, learning to share, that kind of thing. So it's the same kind of grant that we've asked for in the past, and it helps us keep the club going, especially because all the money is used for our program supplies and rewarding kids for their participation, making sure that they still come. So I don't know if you have any questions. Do you want to say anything?
Hi, everybody. My name is Ruby. I'm the unit director for the Selma Boys and Girls Club. And yes, we do get to do Triple Play Healthy Habits at our club. Also, we get to do Power Hour, which is the time where the kids get together, or at the beginning where they practice more homework from, we had yesterday, one of our boys who was failing, he comes and he says, Ruby, I have honor roll. And it was amazing. It was amazing because most of the times he was dismissed because he has behavioral problems. And we were able to sit with him and help him one-on-one with homework. And that's just one of the programs that we get to do at the Boys and Girls Club. And kids love to play outside. We get to get things for them to play outside. They love soccer, flag football, and I cheer from the side as they play along with our other staff. But we love what we do.
Thank you. Do you have any questions? Yeah,
Very good.
Thank you.
thank you. Big vote.
I make a motion to approve the 5,000.
I second.
Seconded.
I did.
Motion for Boys and Girls Club of Fresno County requesting 5,000. Motion by Gallardo. I'm sorry? Who made the motion?
No, go ahead.
Okay, all right. Any opposed? All in favor?
Aye. Roll call.
Okay. Chair Rosemary Alanis.
Yes.
Vice Chair Anthony Herrera,
Yes.
Treasurer Leticia Gallardo,
Yes.
and Treasurer Lorena. All right,
Danny.
and Member Danny Seremian.
Yes.
Thank you. All in favor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you
work.
for all your hard work.
All right, moving on to next item, consideration of community grant application from Babe Ruth of Selma. Recommendation, approve with or without conditions or deny.
Good evening. My name is Cesar Luna. I am the current president of Selma Babe Ruth. I was here last year asking for something similar that's for what I'm asking now. It was brought to my attention that it'd probably be more convenient for me to get an ice machine. The ice machine has actually turned out to be a little bit more expensive than what I thought it was gonna be. So we went with the smaller version of it. As a president, I'm responsible for almost 100 kids out there. Make sure that I'm ensuring their safety, whether it is on or off the field. I have been coaching for a very long time. And I thought that I could serve better as a president there. So I've been taking it upon myself to do whatever I can to help these kids. And these kids keep returning, and our turnout gets bigger and bigger every year. So I'm proud to represent for them. I'm proud to be here for them. We get a lot of injuries during baseball season, whether they're sliding into a base, whether they're pitching, get hit by a ball. So obviously it's a concern for myself as a parent and as a coach to make sure that we treat our kids accordingly. So I'm requesting the ice machine along with the bags and the wrap so I can ice our players after an injury and after they throw a set amount of pitches. And right now, like, our kids are throwing a lot of pitches. We had a young boy, a 13-year-old boy, throw 95 pitches yesterday. We had a senior throw 105 pitches. And we're like, that's the borderline of the limit of where we want our kids. So we want to be able to treat them on the spot. So that's why I'm asking for the ice machine. Also, it's super hot out there. We've been fortunate that it hasn't been too hot, but it's coming. The heat is coming, and we have, other than the stuff that we have in the snack bar, we have no water for the kids out there. Our faucets out there are not in service, so we are gonna attempt to purchase one of these carts that I have requested on our own, along with the igloo, so we can put one in each dugout. Just so we can provide hydration for the kids. The other item that I have, and I really don't think I need to talk about it, is the AED. We just had an incident with one of our parents out in Reedley. He was watching his son play and had a heart attack in front of his kids, in front of his family. And the AED that they used that day was just picked up 2 hours prior. So if it wasn't for that AED, he probably wouldn't be here with us today. So I think it's very important that we get one. I know the one that I requested is a little bit pricey, But the reason I went with this one is I work for the fire department and it's compatible with our monitors. And it's compatible with Kingsbury's and Reedley's ambulance monitors, so it'll cut down on having to pull the pads off and quick connect and continue doing what we need to be doing. I think that's everything that we requested. You have any questions?
I do. The ice maker, in during the season and off season, where is that gonna be housed? Do you have a secure place for it?
Yes, so we have our concession stand there. Right now, it's currently getting remodeled, so right now is the perfect time to get a new ice machine. That way, they've already been plumbing everything. The Public Works has done a fantastic job taking care of us there. So they put new doors, new locks, repainted in there. I mean, they've done a lot of work inside that building, so it's gonna be very secure. We have cameras pointing at both the snack bar in two directions. But yeah, it's gonna be locked up. It'll be there.
Do you also share with any other leagues to use that snack bar or?
No, we're the only ones that have that snack bar. Yeah, so everything that's inside that snack bar belongs to Babe Ruth organization, other than the structure.
Questions?
I have a question. You have food items attached to this?
No,
Oh, I thought I saw apples and juices and fresh gala apples, jalapeno peppers.
no.
That's not us.
It's in your
Oh.
package.
If you want to give us that stuff, we'll take it.
No. Well,
Right.
Have you gone to you guys have Measure K with the city. Have you asked them for your guys' money?
So Babe Ruth is independent, so we basically take on the program ourselves. It's not, we don't run it through the city. It's only ran through the city park. So we're independent from the city programs.
I thought Measure K was for any
Oh.
sports that was in the parks.
No,
Okay.
yeah, it may be just for funding for stuff that the city provides, like for
Okay.
T-ball and co-ed and stuff like that, but like I said, we're everything that we raise for Babe Ruth, we do on our own, and we do it based off of donations and registration. So this year, last year I took over, we were charging $110. This year, thanks to our sponsors and the help, I was able to lower it to 60. So my goal is to eventually try to make it free, if not just enough so they can just pay the charter and insurance. But without donations and sponsorship, we're kind of, our hands are tied, because that's the only way we get money. And then we have All Stars, which is super expensive. Uniforms cost us about $2,700 this year. Insurance and charter was roughly around $2,300. So it gets up to about 10 grand a year, pretty quick.
I think you do a great job out there, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody in the public have any comments? No comments at this time. Motion,
I'll make a motion.
A second.
we have a roll call.
Roll call for Selma Babe Ruth request. I have Chair Alanis. Yes. Vice Chair Herrera,
Yes.
Treasurer Gallardo,
Yes.
Secretary Avalos. Yes. Chairman, was that a yes? All right, you signaled yes. Thank you.
Item 10.5. Authorization of resolution ordering even year board of directors election. recommendation is to adopt the resolution. Can you talk about this one, Dave?
Yeah, this is a, this is a resolution that the district is recommended to approve, ordering the even year Board of Directors election. It's pretty much pro forma. There is a second part to the information that the board received from Fresno County Elections Office, and that would be to update the fact sheet and provide basically contemporary information for the Elections Department. And the staff's recommendation is not only to adopt the resolution, but then direct staff and authorize staff to complete the fact sheet and return it to Fresno County Elections. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. As I understand it, this is currently what we do, correct? It's just
Formality.
formality, yeah, sounds like.
Consistent.
Okay. Just to put it out there, we do have two seats open for this election and coming up in November, if anybody's interested in running. We have a motion to accept.
I make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
Voting on resolution ordering even year Board of Directors elections. Chair Alanis,
Yes.
Vice Chair Herrera,
Yes.
Treasurer Gallardo. Carrie Avalos. Member Seremian,
Yes.
all approved. Thank you.
Great. Next item, move. All right, moving on to 11, 2, Ad hoc Executive Director Retention Committee update.
So at our last meeting, as a member of the public observed, I had submitted a resignation, and the timing of which was to be shortly after this meeting. And wanted to complete the budget, get the policies approved. And basically, I have retired from a career in planning and public administration and was seeking to get back to that state. And the board asked if I would reconsider or maybe consider changing the end date. I believe that the vice chair at that time also appointed or established an ad hoc committee of two members of this board to talk to me and see what they could do about changing my mind. And I also met with Ken, who essentially asked the same thing. So let me take a step back and say I still intend to resign at some point. It is my belief, and I would hope the belief of the board, that having somebody in this position as an executive director is an essential part of this board's evolution. The board is well served by a clerk and by legal counsel, but there's a space in the middle that an executive director could fill and add value to the work of this board. It's been very rewarding for me in the short time I've been working for the board to be part of a healthcare system, a healthcare funding, whether it's through the district-led initiative or through the community grants. You might say, well, triple play or Babe Ruth, that's not really healthcare. But when it's put in the context of protecting the health of the players, keeping an eye on them, they're already being watched, their condition, their physical condition is of concern to the parents and the coaches. And it brings me a lot of satisfaction to realize that I am part of this board on the staff side, providing relief to sore arms, offsetting heat stroke. Those are all good things. And it's very rewarding. And it's also rewarding to be part of a larger project with our partner at Adventist Health. However, I personally would like to exit the stage and get back to my private life, but I would like to support this board's search for a replacement. I've already put some feelers out just to talk to some folks and then have them approached, or have them approach the board at some point, because it's ultimately going to be the board's decision to whether to hire an executive director, and if so, who to hire. But I would also encourage this board to become actively involved in the recruitment. But I think it's also important for this board to have, to speak from a unified position. And if there are members of the board that do not feel that an executive director is an expense that is a worthy expense, that is really the decision of this board. But I would recommend, in my short time here, it's become clear to me that the board can operate more efficiently. Without an executive director, more is placed on you, members of the board. You're doing the work that I was doing. You're communicating with Debbie, getting things ready. You're communicating with Joey. Is that the most efficient way to operate? So that's a question for this board to consider. I am happy to serve for the rest of the calendar year. That's basically 2 more meetings that have been scheduled regularly. And would like to, basically with the proviso that the board have that discussion and have the discussion about, is an executive director an expense, and is it worth the expense? And if so, who do you hire and how much do you pay and all that? That's really something that I would like to see this board make progress on. Not necessarily as a condition of me staying, but something that I will be, and I'll just give you full disclosure, I'm going to be ringing that bell whenever we meet and whenever we talk in the future, that this is something that I think that this board and the public would benefit by, to have that kind of administrative leadership. So that's my response.
Just going forward, I want to clarify that, well, yes, we did create an ad hoc to meet with you and seeing if we could move forward, but I had scheduled a meeting with my other ad hoc counterpart, but by the time I got to you to meet with us, you had already talked to Ken and had decided to stay the rest of the year. So I just went ahead and canceled it. So I always like this board to be transparent with each other and make sure that we're all cohesive and working together for the betterment and the positive movement of the board. So I didn't want anybody to think that I just made a decision by myself for you to stay. You had already made that decision by the time I was contacted you.
And right, we did speak on that matter as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Any comments? Any comments from the public regarding executive director? Thank you, Dave, for staying on until we
Yes.
find a
thank you.
replacement.
And what, how would, and I guess I'll approach the chair, our new chair here. It would be a recommendation that the chair appoint either the current ad hoc committee for the next step. I'd like to know if that's something that the board is interested in. I appreciate that you're pleased to see me here and will expect to see me the rest of the calendar year, but I'd like to explore the notion of what the next step is for this board, and whether that's the existing ad hoc committee that simply morphs or another committee. I'll leave it up to you, but that's something I'd like to see.
Okay. Can I give you an answer at a later date? Soon? Like,
Well, I guess let's ask legal counsel if an ad hoc committee can be formed outside of a public meeting.
Yes, it can. It sounds like, however, there's already an ad hoc committee in place, and I apologize for not having the background on that committee. But it sounds like that committee's still in place. The only difference now is that one of the committee members is now chair, and that doesn't in and of itself change anything.
Okay.
So that ad hoc committee can continue to
Oh, okay.
exist
okay,
so long as it's a functioning ad hoc committee.
okay.
Right.
Lorraine,
That's fine,
right,
of what you're doing.
okay.
I don't want to be left out. All or
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
And I'd recommend that we schedule a meeting, an opportunity to meet face to face and
Okay. You want it scheduled now?
we can do it after the meeting. I think
Okay,
that's-
good.
Thank you. Item 13, board member comments or announcements?
Mr. Vice Chair, this time I'm correct. I need to remind you, we haven't got to 12 yet. We were just on 2 or 11-2.
Okay, so you have more to talk to us about?
Yes, Rosemary said she needs to get out of here in a hurry, so I thought I would stretch things out a bit. Very briefly, the district is in need of a financial audit for this past fiscal year, and I want to let the board know that I will be issuing a request for proposals and expect to have a recommendation for the board at our next regular meeting in September. So at that point, the board can select a CPA firm to do the financial audit. And I've talked with Adley at Adventist Health today. They have received the communication that I presented to them after discussions with Vice Chair and the ad hoc committee dealing with Adventist Health. So they have it. It's just a matter of scheduling time with their chain of command to review. If there are any particular items that the board or the ad hoc committee would like to see in that, let me know ASAP. She was asking if there's anything in particular we need to see, and I said that I know that there were some comments about the scope of the reporting that board members expressed they'd like to see updated. It was Adventist complying with the terms of the agreement when they did their mid-year report. And so if there's any other information, we need to let them know what we want to see because they so far have been complying with those terms. So if there's any gap between what the board would like to see and what they're already shown or obliged to do through the agreement, please let me know as soon as you can, and I'll pass it on to Adley. Thank you very much.
Sorry for skipping you. And now moving on to 13. Rick, do I need to open it up for public comment on? Okay. Any board member comments or announcements at this time?
I do. I have a comment. Well, if you want to set the appointment, we can set it now. Ad hoc?
I'd rather do that after the meeting.
Okay,
I'll be
okay.
going through my calendar too.
Okay, yeah.
I have an item. I should have brought it up when we were talking about the policies. One policy or a policy that I don't see that we have, but I think we need is a policy to review the financial process, like from A to Z, and Z would be inputting into a spreadsheet
Yes.
that I know we have, but I've never seen. So if you can look into that to make sure that before your exit, that we have documented a process so we can possibly look for opportunities of improvement or just document what we do.
Okay. Now we have a treasurer's report at each meeting. And that information, you'd like to see maybe trends or?
Just a policy. It's like, okay, where's the start of that process and then where does it end?
And
A
which process?
documented process, the financial process, like money in, money out, the actual functions, who does what. We know the process, but it's not documented anywhere. Letty knows what she's doing. After Letty does her part, she gives it to Debbie, but it's not documented
okay.
as a process.
Spreadsheet.
So everybody's doing what they do. We just don't have a documented policy or process in place.
Anthony's absolutely correct. I sit on another board where I'm the treasurer and anybody who's requesting, requesting refunds or reimbursement, it goes through the president and the treasurer. Nothing gets paid out until the president, and the vice chair approve it. So we're not surprised when we get to the meeting. We know what checks were paid. We also get a spreadsheet and we also get a copy of the bank statement. That's something I would like to see.
If you want a copy of the bank statement,
Yeah.
she can forward you. a copy.
Okay.
That's why we have this huge tech,
Yeah.
system that we pay for. She gets a big.
Yeah. I think they should be included in all
I
the,
have,
at the
and they-
meetings.
They've been changed so many times.
Yeah,
They've been changed. Don't need them, now we need them.
Yeah.
Don't need them, so, and she can forward you all the
Okay.
bank statements.
it should be like in a package, that we get the bank statement, we get the spreadsheet.
So it sounds like there's a couple of things here. One is that Vice Chair Herrera is looking for an overarching
Yeah,
financial policy, like how does the district operate? Who does what?
Right.
And then there's, the second issue is we have a resource that sometimes isn't needed or isn't wanted,
Utilized.
but then it's sort of hot
Right,
and cold on
right,
that.
right.
So maybe something consistent
right,
about
right,
how that resource is used on a regular
right,
basis. Okay.
absolutely.
So if we had a documented policy, when times come up, somebody wants it, they don't want it, we would have voted on this is our policy.
Okay, so again, every bank statement she receives, and if you want a copy of it, she can forward it to you in your email. It takes 2 seconds.
Right,
I
okay,
don't want a
oh,
copy in my email. I just want it in the packet when I come to.
Okay, and I have included it.
Yeah,
and
you have.
Herrera said, I don't need to include it anymore. That's when he advised that. So if you want it, then it'll get included. She can forward it.
Okay.
okay. So back to the reason I brought it up is to avoid
Mhm.
this kind of a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road. If we vote on or accept a policy, our process, then that's what it is. We have a document to follow. So there'll be no question. And that's kind of where we don't have anything like
Okay,
that
so
right now.
you can start making copies then of the bank statements for all the board members, and then I'll attach them. And along with that, what is it that you're requesting, an
Well-
audit?
Letty,
So,
we'll document our process and then we'll vote that that's the process we want to do. And then we might not have to do all that once we document the process. Well, we're going to document what we're doing now currently, and then we'll go from there.
I think I understand.
All right, any board comments other than that?
Mm-mm.
Members of the public? Meeting is adjourned. Our next meeting is scheduled for September 9th at 6 p.m. Thank you.